head coming into the season, and another just named their quarterback to start the season, and that's Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. And according to Shane Steichen, this move ain't for the short term, it's long term. It's a new year in Indy, and at least one player is not happy about what's going on.
I would say so. I think I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. You look around the league and see just like the consistency of having a Patrick Mahomes or a quarterback behind you that's been the franchise player for years and years and years, and getting to build that chemistry with that quarterback year after year is something that there is an advantage to when it comes to O-line play.
Quentin Nelson, a man that I would not like to upset, seems like he wants a franchise guy that he can have there for a decade, and he's not necessarily pleased with what's going on, Gross. Can you kind of tell us why the coach decided to go with Daniel Jones?
Yeah, RC, the answer I got back asking about this last night was consistency, that Daniel Jones had been the more consistent performer at the position throughout the offseason and throughout training camp. The Colts, they still tell you that Anthony Richardson at 23 years old is a young player they believe can still continue to grow, and that he showed positive signs of that growth throughout the offseason, but wasn't as consistent as Jones. And when he got an opportunity to start that first preseason game, he got injured and wasn't able to get the reps in that game that they hoped he would. It's kind of been the story of Richardson's career so far, missing time, valuable time due to injury, and right now he's going to have to work on getting better in a backup role for as long as Daniel Jones holds the job.
Yeah, I think this is pretty simple, guys. I think Shane Steichen understands where he is in his career as a coach. He's got to win, and he's asked himself, which quarterback gives me the best opportunity to win? Because if I don't win, then my kids' private school that they enjoy going to, we won't be able to go there. That nice Mercedes that my wife drives, we're not going to be able to afford that. So I got to win. Now, Colts as an organization would probably say, hey, we need to develop Anthony Richardson. But Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard are not in a position to develop Anthony Richardson this year and forfeit of wins. They gotta win. And if you're Shane Steichen, you just look in the mirror and you say, which one of these guys do I trust the most? Do I trust my kid's private school? Do I trust my wife's Mercedes to the most? And he chose Daniel Jones. And you know what? I can't be mad at it. Even though they knew when they drafted Anthony Richardson, he needed to play, he needed to develop. But right now, at this point in time, I think Shane Steichen is making the best decision for himself and his coaching staff, and I think he's doing the right thing.
Well, a little simple flex by Booger there. He's talking about private schools and Mercedes, but Anthony Richardson's agent is trying to get him some private schools and Mercedes too. Derek Jackson spoke to our coach reporter Stephen Holder yesterday, and he did not hold back about the quarterback's future in Indy, saying, quote, "We have a lot to discuss. Trust is a big factor, and that is at best questionable right now," Jackson said. Anthony came back and made the improvements in the areas he needed to improve, and by all accounts, he had a great camp. You know, Lewis, it feels like Richardson's time, at least to me, in Indy is done. Do you feel like he got a fair shot to be the guy there?
Look, RC, as you know, look, when you're the 4th overall pick, they're going to give you every chance to succeed, okay? The whole organization, by and large, is set up to really support you. So I really cannot say, you know, from what I know, that the Colts didn't give Anthony Richardson a fair shot, okay? Are there things that when they go back and they analyze this that maybe they could have done better to support him? Maybe they could have done better to motivate him, to get him to the place that they needed to get him to from a cerebral perspective, from a readiness perspective? Sure, but a lot of this really does seem to center around two things. One, it seems as though they question to some degree his football character, his willingness to really buy in and be a first in, last out guy, a tone setter, a leader, a guy who buys into everything that it takes to be a professional at the highest level. And number two, we've all seen it. We've seen it 1,000 times. The replay of the situation down in Houston where Anthony Richardson asked out of a football game. That is one of those seminal moments, I think, for all of us as football players and as fans of this game that we'll never forget, because we've never seen that before. We've never seen that out of that position before, ever in the NFL level. That's something that he's going to be facing for the rest of his life, trying to push that back and say, that's not who I am. And I think this really comes down to that. It comes down to trust. And they simply trust Daniel Jones more.
Yeah, I think that's real, Garage. What do you think?
I think
You good, Garage?
what's that?
I said you're good.
Yeah, I think trust. The thing they've been unable to trust about him is his health. He hasn't been able to stay on the field. He has missed 19 of the 34 games the Colts have played since they drafted him. And when they drafted him, they said he has to play in order to get better. So I think when you look at Anthony Richardson's possible future in Indianapolis, it rests on a couple of things. Daniel Jones hasn't been the picture of health throughout his career either. That something could still happen there and give Richardson another opportunity. And if the Colts start to lose games, oftentimes you see a quarterback change brought up as an answer to that. So I'm not sure I rule out the possibility of seeing him in a Colts uniform again.
Well, Anthony Richardson's time may be done, but Cam Ward's time in Tennessee is just starting. And he had a little scuffle with a big man in Jeffrey Simmons. Let's hear what the star rookie had to say.
Jeff strongest. I would say it was fun at the same time, and I think it was what we needed though. I mean, we love competing, especially me, Jeff, and I'm excited to have that man as my teammate. And so I mean, I can't wait to see what he do. Sundays I already know what he about, but I get to see the real thing.